Hey, yo, what's up? Can I make this video? It's just to talk about what I've been working on. It's a project named Relx, and it's kind of a project that's hosted as a web. It's just only a website right now, Relx.com. You probably already know about the site if you were a part of the a couple big quantum computing discords, like the IndieQ Quantum Community Discord and the Undergrads Unite Quantum Discord. But if you weren't a part of those discords, you probably don't know that this thing exists. Or if you were on the Qiskit Slack, you saw me post about it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I just thought I'd talk about it, try to get the word out maybe a little bit. So Relx.com is a resource built around learning about quantum computing. And it's kind of a resource that's kind of built around learning quantum computing at more of a beginner type level. I try to make this source or my content here pretty beginner friendly to intermediate. I mean, there's some intermediate material, but I would consider most of the content here to be beginner related. Only prerequisite I'd recommend, to be honest, is just very light knowledge of Windows, Linux. You don't have to know Linux, but if you use Linux, then yeah. And it's super tiny amount of Python, but I talk about those anyway. So Relx.com, it's kind of your number one place to find quantum computing related stuff. There's tutorials, so there's right now there's Qiskit tutorials, so you can learn about how to write your first Qiskit program, install Jupyter Notebook. It talks about how to install Windows and Linux. It goes over some errors in here. All the content's really expertly made. It's great content. I recommend you guys check it out. You can slide down here to the comment system. Just do that. So it's pretty awesome. Valine's a pretty good service. You can easily shift between it. There's a nice array at the top up here. And I forgot to mention, the site is extremely well optimized for mobile browsers, so feel free to open this up on a tablet or a mobile phone. It'll all load in. The site's hosted by Jekyll, so it's a static site, so it loads really, really quickly, so you don't have to worry about that. There's featured content, so content here updates weekly, just to keep things kind of nice and fresh. There's a weekly quote. Right now, there's one by Mr. Feynman. Weekly kind of video that I pick out from YouTube that I recommend people to watch if you haven't already. This one's by Minute Physics. He kind of talks about Shor's algorithm and why Shor's algorithm is important in quantum computing, and not just quantum computing, but pretty much all aspects of encryption, modern day encryption that is, and just some other stuff. So some weekly resources, a website that I pick out that is also really good. I like showing other people's other websites, and a Discord server. I recommend you guys join this Discord server. I'm in this Discord server. This is where I'm most active in. You should join this one if you haven't. And yeah, so there's one of the biggest reasons people use my site at the current moment is this ginormous resources page. So this resources page features things from, articles, videos, other websites, courses, colleges, universities, books, podcasts, others, Slack communities. I even have the entire Qiskit Summer School Discord archive. So if you are a part of the Qiskit Summer School Discord, then you can access the archives here. You do have to enter a password, but instructions on how to do that are found in the actual site itself. And yeah, there's just so many links with stuff that you can use. And keep in mind, all this content here is being updated on a literal weekly basis. So you just can't get any better than that, right? And I also make sure to mark everything with tags, so you know how long the content is and how hard the content is, from a scale of easy to advanced, which you can read about all those tags and their descriptions up top. And you can even submit a new resource, because I really want to hear what people have to say, and if they have a suggestion. And even if you make a resource yourself, feel free to submit it, because if it's good, I'll probably add it. So yeah, everything here is being updated weekly. There's tons of links. The red is obviously the link, and there's usually a description at the bottom that kind of talks about what everything is. Yeah, in Relx.com, there's also these interactive flashcards, and this was actually a pretty big thing I was working on for a long time with Relx. And one of the things I really wanted to make sure happened with Relx was to make it kind of a more interactive experience and a fun way to learn. So there's these interactive flashcards that I've been slowly adding onto the site that, it's like any other flashcard web app. If you've ever used Quizlet, kind of like that, but maybe not as advanced, but it's still pretty cool, because it can render in something that Quizlet can't, and that's MathJax. So I can ask linear algebra questions, or just any question that uses, big formulas, and have it render in perfectly. So here's an example of a flashcard set, Linear Algebra Part 1. So this is a pretty basic set. As you can see, quantum computing flashcards easy. So here's the question. How do you represent ket notation 0 as a vector? So it would just be, if you know, it's just a matrix with 1 on top and a 0 on bottom. And there you go. And it asks a ton of these questions, and you can just scroll through them and get results pretty easily. And yeah, everything loads in really quickly. It's compatible on both macOS, Linux, Windows, and it even works on mobile phones, desktops, and laptops. So it's really, really user-friendly. It's got nice animations. Everything renders in smoothly. Looks very clean. And if you want to go to the next deck, you can either press back to decks and browse. You can browse the decks from here. And the decks right now are kind of limited. There's only 3 decks that are all related to linear algebra. But I am working with a couple other people to get more decks out there with more questions related to quantum computing. So don't worry, those will be coming in within the next couple of days. They're just going to be awesome. But yeah, here are the current flashcards. You can look at the flashcards. You know, it can render in some pretty cool stuff. I mean, check out all this stuff. I mean, there's some great questions in here to study your linear algebra, right? And then if you want to go to the next deck, so I'm on the last deck here, so it sends me back to the beginning if you want. I want to go to the second deck, no problem. Or I want to go check out the other decks, go press back to deck. And I just go press back to deck. So it's a really intuitive system. It's really beautiful, and you've never seen anything like this. And it's a great way to learn linear algebra while having it be an interactive experience. Especially if you learn with more kind of flashcard type material. So yeah, enjoy this. And quantum history. So this is a pretty cool section too. This section isn't done yet, but I'm pretty sure, as you can tell, a lot of it has been done, so feel free to take a browse. It's got a lot of the history of quantum computing and how it's evolved over time. It's a really beautiful page, to be honest. I'm really proud of this thing. Big props to Brady Wright, for designing the CSS and HTML behind this timeline. I mean, the color scheme even fits this Jekyll theme. It's beautiful. Give this guy some props, man. This guy's amazing. But yeah, it's great timeline. I even list some insignificant things that you might not know, like quantum error corrections. I wouldn't really necessarily consider common knowledge, and because this is a beginner-oriented site, if you want to learn about quantum error correction, it talks about it in this resource, and I'll try to list resources for kind of niche subjects. So that's pretty cool. We got an about page, another page. Other page is kind of where I'll post projects that aren't related to quantum computing. So here I talk about a custom lithium-ion polymer fast charging board that I made. It's pretty cool. I'm currently working on the next one at the moment, as you can see. And there's also a search bar. So if you want to search something, feel free. Don't worry about those guys. Those are just empty. You can click on them, but there's nothing there yet. And yeah, so there's a navigation page I kind of forgot to mention. That's pretty cool. There's also a change log, so you can kind of see all the fixes that were made. This was made yesterday. This kind of makes it look like the site just came out, because the 19th is pretty close to the 26th, which is the day that I'm recording. That's not true. This is when I released publicized the link. The site itself has been in development for about 3 months now, so we actually have multiple people working on it. So if you think you want to work on the site, I would love to hear it. You don't have to be a postdoc making ginormous contributions to the quantum computing community. You just have to have the will to want to help on a project. So you can read this thing and check out the Discord if you want to apply to become a contributor to Relics.com. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, and there's quantum algorithms, pretty awesome. So yeah, that's kind of what Relics.com is right now. It's still in progress. It's still really new. Past couple days, I added a little bit of content, but mostly the past couple days, I've only been working on search engine optimization. So, but do keep in mind that literally, I don't over exaggerate this. Every single day, I'm working on this. So make sure to check back, and yeah, make sure to check out some of the links at the bottom for inquiries and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. And yeah, take care.